I lived to please him. He lived for himself. He loved me, yes. He didn't know how to love me. Who he is today is who I wish would have been in the marriage. I regret leaving Jeff. I looked over his harsh speech for so many years. What was more, I wish he would have said, "It's okay, Stacy. It's okay." I wanted to please him and make him happy. That I lost who I was and what I wanted in the process. When I look at what I said and thought about him in my major breakdown, I thought he, the leader of the cartel. This comes from a place of never feeling safe with Jeff. He would have these breakdowns where he would destroy a room, breaking dressers and throwing things. I would lay or stand and wince, waiting for it to be me, the thing he throws. Luckily for me, I look like I can take a hit and hit back. The yelling was effective. I did everything I could to change him. He would do his projects and think that was enough. Over the years, nothing was ever going to be enough for me. At the end, I just sat around, gone inside, thinking, this is it. I'm going to live a loveless life. I'm going to be ordered around and forgotten. That's how I felt. I felt like an afterthought. He never thought I would leave. He treated me less than the dog. I looked like a dog. I looked how I was treated. My hair was falling out. My face was covered in acne. I often think back to if he would have come to me gently and laid his head on my lap. I just let my tears fall while I brushed his hair. Jeff didn't like to be touched, and since he didn't like to be touched, he didn't touch. He would tap in for sex, then tap out. I've been missing the good so much lately that sometimes I have to give myself grace and remember the bad. I lived for him. He was the air in my lungs and the reason I woke up. Thinking daily of what I could do to serve him. I would wake up earlier and go to bed later. Still to this day, I think about what he want for his birthday. I think about what he would want for dinner. I sometimes still struggle with what to do with my day. My day was Jeff. He would always pull himself out of his mind. When he screamed at me, it was his mental health. He would lay in bed and shake, rock back and forth. The anger he had came from something else. I focused so much on what I knew was schizophrenia that I ignored my own warning signs. Jeff knew he had schizophrenia. We had names for his different men he would turn into. One part of himself hated me, would stare at me as if he wanted to end me. I tiptoed around not wanting to poke the bear. I lived in fear of a blow-up. He slept with a loaded gun by his bed. He walked. He would drink to black out every day. This started early on. A few months into the relationship, he destroyed his room because his mom asked him to clean the bathroom. I thought, what a silly thing to be mad about. One other time he parked the car while driving down the road, jumped out and chased a car. Yet, he is my home with a heartbeat. Jeff has always been quick to outburst. I did everything to soften him. Over the years, I started to act like him. I started yelling. I was no better. Then add my mental health issues, which started with strange behavior and lunatic ramblings. Jeff would try to make sense of it all. He heard me when I talked to him about his anger. He tried to soften, but watching him hold back how he felt, it would bring more fear. He hated me. He wanted so badly to love me, but he didn't. I annoyed him. I frustrated him. When we fought until we reached understanding and respect for each other, I did whatever I could to make him happy. When he was happy, he lighted the room up with his smile. We all have had moments of anger that you wish you held back. We have been less than gracefully. Jeff is a man, and men have harsh tone of voices. He was young, and it was hard to control emotions. He struggled to keep a hold of his mind. Every terrible thing he did, I have a ready excuse for it. Understanding why I felt he was emotional abusive. Him being an angry alcoholic for most of the relationship did a number of me. Wanting to give him the right dose of love to make him feel better. Wanting to ease him, tame him, and calm him. He would. Just being there would calm him. I made myself available to whatever his need was. I was happy to do so. I loved taking care of him. He took care of me. When he came out of his mood or sobered up, he treated me like a queen. He cleaned the house. He would build something. He would be sweet to me. He still never touched me. He had barrier with affection. The lack of affection and receiving love in a typical loving way was causing a lot of my mental barriers. Although I had Jeff, I never felt like he gave his all to me. He carried guilt, and you can feel the load in the room. He lied to me and did things. I knew. He didn't know how much I knew and if I knew, but I always had suspicions. My constant suspicion wore him down. I was never satisfied with what answer he gave. I didn't ask because it would break into a fight. He would have outbursts and I would cry and break down. Then I would go to bed in a panic attack crying in my pillow. He would pass out. In a real way, Jeff's rage turned me on. The highs and lows in our relationship became who we were and how we loved each other. Most days were normal, but we cycled in toxicity. We had a deep trauma bond. The typical cycle of trauma bonding, which includes love bombing, trust and dependency, criticism, gaslighting, emotional addiction, loss of self, as well as resignation and submission. He would get mad and start to pace. That's how it would start. My phrase was always, don't poke the bear. He would calm down and I would flirt with him. Jeff and I had a sexual chemistry. I could flirt and get out of whatever jam I was in. I forgave him for being emotional abusive. I was too. I would guilt him and manipulate him. I grew this layer of hatred for him and would use it as a weapon. I can scream and yell. He would scream to calm me down. We both were toxic. We both were crazy. We both had our failings. I'm no angel. I do know that we both loved each other. We fought for each other. I would have fought for us for the rest of my life. I crumbled. If we were still together, it would 17 years. I left at year 13. I've had some time to think about where it went wrong and where it went right. I don't blame him as much as I did when I first left. All I see now is a man trying to keep his troubled wife. He held back his anger he used to have and just had tears in his eyes. He understood I was gone. Mentally, I had been gone, and now I would be physically gone. I tried to say everything the right way, but I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know who I was without him. It was him and I. We fought, but we fought for each other. At the time, I had nothing more to give. Now all I want is to sit with him and eat a meal. Him to really look at me. Know that I am sorry. We were so young when we got together. Jeff instantly was protective over me and cared for me. He loved me the only way he knew how. He made sure I had all my basic needs met. I wish I could go back to every fight and think clearly and say the right thing and do the right thing and come up with the right course of action, but I can't. The fact is, I was a troubled girl when we met. He had an anger he never quenched. I aimed to please the unsatisfied. What I wouldn't give to wake up next to my best friend.